This exclusive message at Axpona is brought to you by Audio Group Denmark.
Welcome here to the unveiling of our new C1. We are quite proud to present them here. Peter, will you lift the curtains and show us the C1?
One, two, three, yeah.
Speakers here is quite a new effort, and Lars and I were having a long discussion of where to take our products after we introduced the X. We started the X 2 years ago, introduction in Munich almost 2 years ago, and now the range is more or less complete, and we need the next step up from there. So here we have allowed ourselves to look a little bit deeper into drivers, refining the finer details, shifting from a ferrite magnet system into a neodymium magnet system, having copper rings inside the pole pieces, reducing induction, making new membranes for the drivers, and using the best ribbon tweeter that we have in the house. And the result here, I think, is fabulous. Fleming helped us do the mechanical design, so some of his DNA is in here as well. So we have sort of like a very good playground team R&D around making new products. And this is the fruit of it. And this is the first speaker in a range of 3, where this is the C1. There will be a C2, a floor stander, approximately same size, but with more drivers, and a C3 as well. The speaker is a bookshelf, a fairly big one. It has its own dedicated stand. And between the speaker and the stand there's decoupling. There's 3 docks down there. In this we have the premier tweeter that we have in the company. It's the best of the best we can do. And it's very, very high efficiency. It's like 94, 95 dB, and that means that with a speaker sensitivity around 88, maybe 87, we have to dampen it a lot. But that means that we just have to feed it less current. And that means it never heats up, it never thermally compresses. The membrane is extremely light. It weighs roughly 1/100 of a gram, but has the size of 3 dome tweeters. So we have a membrane area to weight that is unsurpassed. And that means that when we have a transient, there's virtually no mass that needs to be accelerated. And there's no mass that needs to be braked again when the signal needs to be off. That means we have no overlap, we have no hanging, we have no resonance, because there's no mass to carry resonances. This is the closest thing you can get in touch with the music signal, because there's virtually no delays, no distortions, no nothing out of this. So it's a very noiseless tweeter that just plays whatever in the signal. And I think that compared to dome tweeters or big electrostats, which has comb filtering effects, this is the purest and most true way of portraying what's actually in the recording. Bass driver here is also a new iteration. It's sort of like the next logical step from what we have in the X-series. So the magnet system is not a ferrite anymore, it's a neodymium magnet system. It's a magnet system that's made with pole rings and pole pieces that are in 2 sections, and inside the section, see here it's screwed together, and inside the section there's rings of copper. So there's a copper ring inside of this iron top piece, and that reduces inductance. And so do these 2 copper caps. They reduce inductance as well. Now the copper cap is not a new thing. It was invented by some crazy Danes in the Scanspik company in the 80s. When patent ran out, this is evenly distributed everywhere in the world. I think most speaker manufacturers use a copper cap. But what is different here, when we have neodymium, we have the force, so we can actually use 2 of them. We can use rings of copper inside to reduce inductance. And that creates a a magnet system that takes maybe 70% of the induction out of the voice coil compared to what it will be if we didn't have the structure in the magnet system. And lower inductance is higher speed, better capability of stopping and starting, and that means higher resolution. Also, the membrane here is new. It may at first glance look a little bit the same as the one that we have in the X line, but resin is different. While the materials are the same, the resin is different. And the resin used here has whiskers inside. And whiskers means it has tiny fragments of boron and graphene. And these whiskers are sort of like when you have a carbon weave, you have the strings running, and then the epoxy binds these strings together. But they are not really cross-linked, so that means that they are just sort of held together like this. But when you have the whiskers, you get a lot of cross-linking on them. That aids stiffness and aids damping as well. So the membrane here is better damped, slightly higher stiffness, and that overall also reduces noise. So there's a lot of things that we do here try to get noise out of the speaker. And noise is ultimately what defines the quality of the speaker. Because if you have a noisy speaker, you will always hear it. But when you have a speaker that's very low in noise, you can pull it out further and wider, and thus listen deeper into the soundstage. The cabinet is made from high-density fiberboards, like most of our speakers are made from wood-type products. Because wood seems to have the nicest type of resonances. You cannot make a cabinet from any material without the material interfering in the sonic quality or the presentation. Aluminium would always sound like aluminium, and we often talk about what is used if we make a musical instrument. And if you look at a guitar, they are made from wood. If you look at the piano, they are made from wood. So we have found that wood cabinets tend to have a very good distribution of resonances and a very pleasant tone to them. Here we have reinforced the wood with the carbon fiber. The carbon fiber thickness is around 1 mm, so it's not an insignificant part of the rigidity of the cabinet comes from this carbon section in the side of the cabinet. And besides, it looks really cool as well. There's something like a race car or something like a nice yacht about the use of carbon fiber. Like your car? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's some cars that have a carbon roof or spoiler or whatever, but it doesn't make them a nicer car. Yeah, but I think that we sort of like try to use the materials where it makes sense. And what we see is that when we do the modal analysis on the cabinet, we can push resonances up in the frequency band by increasing the rigidity of the materials used. And when you go up in frequency in the resonances in the cabinet, music tends to have less energy. So not only do you push the resonances to a point where the energy in the music is less, and that means that it tends to vibrate less. I think this is basically it, and thank you for your patience and my long explanations, and we're very happy to put these on the market and show them here for the first time at the Axpona show.